Welcome to the Black Dice Society. This is episode 17, All the World's a Stage, part 2. Harkon Lucas. In the depths of Imhurst, a establishment in Cartacus, where the entire top level of it, what seems to be a town, is a giant presentation space, a playhouse for artistry and for would-be talent hoping to be discovered to become the next big thing, put on immersive shows where to break cover is the greatest possible crime. To come out of character, to reveal what is happening behind the curtain is unforgivable. However, in the depths of Imhurst, underneath, there is a sublayer, an infrastructure of tunnels, caverns, sleeping quarters, eating quarters, everything that you would normally expect to find in a town, all built conspicuously out of sight, solely in the service of the production ahead. Down underneath, what would Harkon Lucas be doing on a normal day? They're just supposed to be rehearsing upstage. He would have rolled into town. He doesn't necessarily live here, but he doesn't live anywhere long. What is he up to?
Right now, he's probably sitting somewhere. There's a small little pocket knife of sorts that he's whittling away at this gemstone or material, mineral, whatever it is. And he's making it sharp to a point, always inspecting it, looking at it, shaking his head now, looking back at it. He knows the cacophony above is going on, and he'll take a look at some point. But right now, this is important. Well, it could be. Who knows?
I assume you have your signature violin, Bleeding Heart, always within arm's reach.
Of course I do. But right now, it's taking a 5, if you will, in stage terms. It's not needed.
You hear a commotion, Harkon. There's always a drum of activity going on back and forth. People reaching there to make sure the props are in place, the curtains go up on time, quick changes of wardrobe. But this is a little bit different. You overhear muffled voices. They're here. They're actually here. Oh my goodness. Did you see her wings? Her wings were so beautiful. Then her skin. I don't know how I'm going to get mine to look like that. Brother Uriah was so skinny and Valentine so graceful. How could anybody look that lethal wearing heels that high? And Tatiana, those muscles, I could live for the rest of my life and not look like her. And people are just gossiping all around you.
He's listening and he knows the names. Noted that it seems that they are within this space, but he hasn't heard one name.
You see a woman walks by, hastily adjusting her red dress, in spinning in circles, trying to look at her paper mache wings. And she's like, oh my God, how could I not have known that she has a tiara? Who would not mention that she has a tiara? And she turns and looks at you and she goes, hey, do you know Nahara has a tiara?
Of course, I know that Nahara has a tiara. Can you come here for a second?
Yeah.
You say that people are here, Nahara, Tatiana, Finn.
The Black Dice Society. They're actually here. They're all so cool.
They're okay. How about Desmond?
There was another guy. She looked not so different than you. Wait, who is that guy? Are you cosplaying that guy? That Desmond, that guy? Are you I don't know, because your colors are all wrong. He's more wearing like this black thing, and he's kind of got this cool like harness, and you're kind
It's
of
a
doing.
work in progress, but did you see him? That's what I need to know.
Yeah. No, he's up there. I don't know. I never heard of that guy though. I mean, I heard about all the rest of them, although clearly didn't hear enough. She says that she reaches over and sort of picks up a piece of wire and immediately starts like hastily trying to fashion a halo for herself.
I'm going to take the halo from her and I'm going to fix it for her as I speak. And I'll say, what you need to know is that Nahara, Valentine, Tatiana, they're cute. Ingenues, ensemble. Finn, she's a striking one. Brother Uriah, he's an interesting one. But Desmond is the leading player, and I'll put it on her, kind of fix it.
Of course, Harkon
He just
Lucas,
doesn't know it yet.
you are a master craftsman. It just almost effortlessly you create this perfect thing that will, of course, look perfect, as long as you don't get too close and definitely don't touch it. Oh, oh, wow! Thank you so much. What was your name? I mean, I'm Nahara. I mean, of course, I'm Nahara. I mean, I'll be the Nahara. I just gotta work on this a little more. And you're Desmond.
It doesn't matter. You can call me Harkon.
I thought that guy retired. Wait, oh, are you like named after him or something? Like my mom loves that dude. She's got some etchings of his from back in the
I'm
day.
pretty sure I hear the fluttering of wings above. Nahara might be leaving. You might want to go catch her before she goes.
Oh, okay. Wait, do I? Is my? She's so graceful. They're all so cool. Yes, I shall. And
Enjoy.
she turns and starts walking away. And as you turn and take in the scene, Harkon, they're not without talent. You immediately can take in and know who is and is not going to make it. And they're all going through the exact same motions that this Nahara was going through. Very quickly trying to edit their costumes, to stand a little differently, to compare themselves to each other. When you look across and you see one woman who is a Valentine, who is sitting and is just staring straight at you.
Does it seem like she knows who I am, or is she just interested in seeing why I'm dressed like Desmond or Desmond adjacent of sorts?
I won't even make you roll for it, Harkon. Again, if one thing you know, there's people. You know people. She's just trying to figure out what your deal is. You're the one piece that doesn't fit here. Everything else is largely the same, largely for show. You, of course, are the one true unique thing anywhere around here.
He's going to take in her gaze, lock eyes with her, and then a charismatic smile comes across him, and he's going to tip his hat to her.
She walks over to you slowly. She says, I know you.
Trust me. You don't know me.
But you will.
You see, she sort of looks both directions and pulls out from behind her pearl necklace a small wolf's tooth. And she says, it is you. I thought that it was just another pretender. There've been so many.
Who are you?
I'm Valentine. The Valentine around these parts, at least before. She is impressive. If you're into that, I guess.
She's okay. a little bit too in her mind for my taste. But you have, and he gestures to a necklace that she's wearing, I assume very similar.
It's identical. It's from you.
Identical.
You don't necessarily remember her face, but sometimes when you're in your cups, things get out of hand. But if she's got the necklace, it's from you.
Have you come to see the show, little wolf?
Oh, no, my lord. I've come to star in the show.
You might make a leading actress. You might. But opening night is very soon. I believe there are visitors who would love to meet you and your friends. I assume there are some.
There were two of them that had it. Twins? Man. Locks. Stocky. I think he called himself Desmond. I don't know. I was too busy observing Valentine. And then another that looked just like him. He followed after Soth. He bombed. He tried to do a scene with Tatiana, the Tatiana. He made a fool of himself. They kicked him out of town. But one of the guys went after him, and another one of the guys stayed with the group. But only one of them had the scent.
Keep an eye on them, and if things get out of hand, give them the best opening number you can think of. I'm sure they'd love that.
You see, she looks at you and smiles. The tentacle makeup she's put on her face around her eyes, very carefully moving with each line and wrinkle in her face to almost give the illusion of motion. But
I'm going to lick my thumb and just fix it ever so slightly.
As you command, my lord. She gives you a very slight curtsy and says, see you up top?
I'll be there fashionably late.
And she also, you see, she sort of stops and thinks for a second, and she says, could I ask you a bit of advice as a performer?
You see, he looks at an imaginary timepiece that he doesn't have and then looks back at her. By all means.
Valentine has this thing. She's effortless. She's beautiful, but predatory. And I can fake it, but the whole point is it's effortless. What am I supposed to do?
There's a thing called giving in to yourself. She's effortless because she is effortless. She doesn't think, she does. She doesn't calculate, she moves. Because she knows that she's going to come out on top. If you second guess yourself, little one, you'll never be her.
Thank you, Master. I'll show you. Show them all. She turns and walks away, leaving you, Harkon, with an opportunity. This is definitely the closest you've gotten to your actual goal since you set about on this course of action oh so long ago.
He looks down at Bleeding Heart and picks it up and tunes it ever so slightly as he plucks at it. Ah, that's the major chord I've been waiting for. They are a means to an end, and he will be what I need. And if not, he'll be like his father.
And
We're muted. Can hear someone else, so.
That's great. So they could hear us while we're working. Everyone here. Okay, well, we'll work on that. Hello, everyone. I'm Nora Ibrahim, and you can find me everywhere at Neurological. And tonight I play Nahara, who is a reborn fallen Azamar undead bardlock.
Hey, I'm Tanya Seifert here. I am your Drow Dumpier Blood Hunter with a little bit of Warlock in her, and sometimes she feels a little beastie. My pronouns and fens are she, her.
Hello, I'm Mark Meir. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Brother Uriah Macabre, cleric of the grave and worshipper of Ezra, Lady of the Mists.
Excellent. They can hear me now, but let's finish doing the intros, and then I will say what they couldn't hear a second ago. They could hear me during the scene with Harkon, though, as far as I could tell. What can I say? OBS updates, and it just decides that it's like, you know what? Now it's not a thing. But anyhow, Tatiana.
Hello, everyone. My name is Becca Scott. I'm so happy to be here with you and with these lovely people. Here I am, Tatiana. Tatiana is Ergenazi barbarian druid. And you don't want to mess with her. You hear me, Harkon? You hear me?
Challenge.
Yeah. That's it. Intro done.
Excellent. Valentine.
Hello, I am Sage Ryan. I go by Not Sage or Pixel Circus everywhere on the internet. And tonight I am playing Valentine, the one and only actual true Valentine, who is a reborn aberrant mind sorcerer. And we both use she, her pronouns.
Speaking of somebody who apparently is one and only, even though somebody else was walking around with his face yesterday, Desmond.
Oh, hi, I'm DJ. Yeah, I stream on Twitch, but mostly I'm in here as Desmond, human ranger, lycanthrope, and we have a good time. Thanks for coming and hang out with us. We appreciate you for being here.
Again, in for a silky smooth and uneventful evening, Desmond. Guarantee. Shopping episode.
I never believe it.
You know what you do to your word when you say guarantee?
When I hear Dave say guarantee, all I expect is damage. I'm concerned.
And last but certainly not least, special guest bringing Harkon Lucas to life.
Hi, my name's Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard. I'm a professional actor and vocalist, all that jazz, jack of all trades, master of like 3 of them. And I am, yes, your Dark Lord of Cartacus, Harkon Lucas. Just a normal guy, hanging out, making my way downtown.
Exactly.
Who I also got to meet in real life for the first time this past weekend.
It's true.
Good.
Posted
Which
some
was awesome.
delightful pictures. It's true. Just melanin excellence. Yes. Again, just a simple guy just out here trying to play his violin, just like make it through the world. Again,
That's it.
Exactly what's written on the tin. I am certain. What I was saying when you guys could not hear me at the top was this is the 50th episode of the Black Dice Society. It is season 2, episode 17. That is true. Yes, Charles, drink to us there. 50 episodes. We literally could not have done it without you. Thank you all so very much for taking this trip with us and coming this far. And I'm going to go ahead and share something with you that I didn't know when we were going to share, but I think now's as good a time as any. We are also down to the final 10 episodes of the Black Dice Society. We will be bringing this iteration of our story to a close. We will almost certainly return for one-shots or things like that, but for now, we are starting to wrap things up. So buckle up, because consequences are going to start becoming a little more final to some of the things that are still dangling out there. Again, pay no attention to the fact that Harkon Lucas is with us here tonight.
Consequences? What's
I
that?
don't know what you're talking about.
Who
I'm just hanging
knows?
out.
That being said, I would point out again, if you want to see us live, we will be at Gen Con. We're doing a live show, which I believe is Thursday at 1 o'clock. Don't quote me on that part, but we're doing a live show at Gen Con. We've all tweeted about it. Go to the website. If you're going to be at Gen Con, come see us, come hang out. You get to see us do what we do live and in person. And we're going to have special guests, Jim Zub there, who is going to be playing somebody very special. But that little bit I'm going to keep to myself. As always, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Die Hard Dice. Again, use code BDS to get 10% off of all the dope things they have at Die Hard Dice. Warriors of Waterdeep. Again, we should have a code popping up in chat. If there's not a code popping up in chat, it's completely my fault, but I'm pretty sure there should be. And also keep an eye out in the game. You see us all over the place in there. Our TeePublic store is live. Shirts, bags, masks, pillows, anything you want. Our Secret Labs, again. Friend of the show, Trevor Bettis, just got his Secret Lab chair, as Mark and Tanya and I all have. It's like riding around on the couch. It's incredible.
Hi, Trevor.
Hello, friend of the show, Trevor. He is also our audio podcast editor, the hunkiest podcast editor out there. Thank you. So if you're listening to us now, it is literally thanks to Trevor. Idle Champions code should be coming up in chat right now. Also, Nahara has joined the game. She is available now. You can add Nahara to your formation along with Desmond and Tatiana. That means half of us are in Idle Champions now. That's interesting. That's weird. Who can say? But for now, grab Nahara while you can. And also, you can still get our masterful BDS art from Adam Schumpert. Type !BDS art in chat. Every one of these we sell, we make a donation to World Builders to help in world hunger. So you don't just get something dope, you are doing a good thing as well. Last but not least, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/The Black Dice Society, where you can get access to our exclusive after show, also bonus content of these beautiful people and the things that are happening to them in between and next to some of the events that you've seen. Maybe the fact that Tatiana spent a long afternoon with Lord Soth might be coming up and be directly relevant soon. I don't know. Perhaps you want to take a peek-see at that. So again, patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. And with that, let us get on with our show. Let's make sure you can hear me. You can. Let me move this one camera around. I'm gonna, before we dive completely in here. Perfect. In the land of Catarchus, you 6 adventurers, having seen all manner of wonder and quite frankly, all manner of terror in your time in the Dread Domains, this place may well be the strangest of all. From a land where the birds sing until their throats get hoarse, the plants, the very wildlife struggles and strains to show off. You all arrived in this town and were immediately confronted by throngs of adoring fans. They not only knew you, they looked like you. They clearly had invested a lot of time and effort into mimicking each and every one of you. They're performers of some sort. After an altercation between their Soth and a very real Tatiana, who threw him through a wall, it became apparent that the house on the other side of it was mostly just a framework. It was just enough to stand upright and maintain the facade. Finn, having disguised herself as Desmond, the only one amongst you that people didn't seem to know. There was a small army of Naharas, Uriahs, Finns, Valentines, and Tatianas, more or less effectively. But no Desmond. No one seemed to know who he was. Finn pursued this Soth as he was being kicked out of town, having said outright, "I bombed, and therefore I have got to leave," who was wearing a necklace very similar to what Desmond has on, and by extension, Finn, while wearing his face, had as well, and made the point to tell you that werewolves aren't real, while you confronted him about this. Meanwhile, in the town, Nahara had made use of her crystal ball and quite independently arrived at the conclusion that of the roughly 100 or so people here in the town, about 30 of them are absolutely werewolves. And the one Nahara that seems to have a functioning pair of wings is a ravenkind. Now, we come back here with, again, the people whispering and everywhere around you. You see them sizing you up, but you sense no hostility from these people. Again, they really are trying to do the best approximations of each of you that they can, which is still slightly off-putting. Again, the Uriahs are working very diligently to help each other and smooth everything out. The Valentines look at each other with dismissive glances, clearly believing they are the superior, although one is absolutely better than the rest. She seems to have slunk off somewhere. The Tatianas arm wrestling actively and doing pull-ups to try and maximize their pump to even remotely approximate her. And for a moment, although Finn has stepped away, the five of you are alone.
It's rather
Awesome here?
curious.
Oh,
Well, yes. I mean, I don't quite know how to explain this.
I'm not sure how to feel about it. It's a little flattering.
They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but, well, have you noticed there doesn't seem to be anyone dressed up as Desmond? Well, I mean, aside from Fen, but she was an exact copy of him. But, I mean, no one here.
oh no.
Oh.
Should we dress up as Desmond so he doesn't feel left out?
Finn's way ahead of us on that.
Yeah. Actually, just hold on one moment. I want to test a theory. Uriah will approach a group of the Uriah cosplayers. Yes. Hello. Excellent job, everyone. Very, very well done indeed.
Blessings of Ezra upon you.
Yes, and may the Lady of the Mists also guide your path. I wonder, just curious, how is it that you've heard of us?
They turn and they look. Uriah, you can see this young man, his brows furrowed. He very clearly feels conflicted about something. It's like, Uriah, might I seek your counsel about something?
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, I can certainly do no less.
Sorry, I was interrupting you. I apologize. If someone were to have a certain moral quandary, if a person was confronted with someone they greatly respected and of course wanted to help and emulate in every way possible,
Yes?
but hypothetically, this person was never supposed to divulge the fact that they were not exactly as they seemed, purely hypothetically, you can't break character, and yet your character would break character.
Yes. Well, then perhaps I should pose a question to you in character. You are no doubt aware of our trials and tribulations at the carnival, the Witchlight Carnival in the Feywild, yes?
Yes, of course, yes. You were, what happened with Hildy was simultaneously heartbreaking yet fulfilling.
Oh, you're rather up to date, aren't you? I'm speaking of earlier, our first visit there. It was certainly a momentous occasion for me, one of my most cherished memories, and as I'm sure it is one of yours, you being Uriah. But which of us became the Witchlight Monarch? The monarch of the Witchlight Carnival. That was an activity that consumed much of our time there, the contest.
Nahara was very polite, and Tatiana had to water a plant. And you see they very much look at each other, true panic on their faces, Uriah. And they're like,
I'm going to try an insight roll to see if they honestly don't know or if they're keeping something back.
Please have at it.
Okay, that
Guidance.
is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
Long bomb from Nahara.
Boop.
I can do it from a distance.
So that is a total of 26 plus whatever the guidance is. Guidance is D4?
Yeah.
Yep.
So 29 total.
Again, the 30 is godlike success. That's 29. They really don't know. But they do know something they're not telling you. They're not lying to you, but there is something that they're not saying. But you sense no deception that they do not know that Desmond became the Witchlight Monarch.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I just have to go confer with my associates.
Uriah. You see, one of them, especially tall and lean, he actually looks, if you took you and Desmond and sort of averaged the two of you out, it's like if Desmond had grown a couple more inches but missed quite a few meals, and clutches his mace closely to his chest, and he says, Uriah must be truthful at all times, yes?
Yes.
Even if the truth might be costly.
Yes, one must, of course, weigh the harm that one might do. But yes.
You see the other two look at him with very much fear sort of coming over their faces. And
Yes, and in fact, I think that is the key to the character of Uriah. That is in fact of paramount importance.
And he does stand up a little straighter, and he says, I believe you were already aware that Lucio had come to us from the lands of Barovia, told us a number of stories. And
Yes, but he certainly wasn't privy to all details.
Last when you saw Lucio, Valentine kind of had him by the collar against the wall, and he is stinking drunk. He very much is kind of rocked to the side. She's holding him up as much as he's holding her up. Well, many travelers come through the mists. They tell a number of stories, which get verified largely, and then told to us. And if there were performers, they take this knowledge and they emulate it to try and best embody the stories of great heroes, such as Uriah, such as us. We're all Uriahs. Yes.
You see. Yes. So you are. Thank you very much. I'll be back. I'll return to the others.
You see, this one of them had already given you an Ezra pamphlet. He also gives you another hand-drawn Ezra pamphlet, but this one has an approximation of the picture of you and Van Richten standing on Strahd, smiling, as if someone had had it described to them, but they hadn't seen it.
Yes, very, very nice indeed. Thank you.
Valentine, you do in fact have Pistachio, or Lucio rather, by the collar, and he's like, as sort of, I missed this a
I
little
thought
bit.
I want to say that Brother Uriah had cast a spell to sober him up.
At you,
I believe Brother Uriah had done a lesser restoration.
Lesser restoration.
Yes, to try and sober him
Valentine,
up.
he's faking.
Excellent. I slap him across the face.
Oh, hi, hey, you guys, hi.
Are we somewhere like very public right now?
You had said you kind of wanted to pull him to the
Like,
side, and
yeah.
they've sort of given you a little room.
Great. So still holding him by the collar and not letting go.
Mhm.
I'm just going to go, why are you lying to us? You should know better.
And at that moment, I cast Zone of Truth.
You are aware of the fact that he had, well, let's see. Poor Lucio. He's actually not a bad liar. Unfortunately, his will is not up to your power. And when you ask, why are you lying to us? He says, because I didn't want to look bad or get into trouble.
You think you looked good?
Look bad to who?
I came here to party, and every time I would talk about you guys, they bought me all the booze I could drink.
Why are there no Desmonds?
Oh no, I told them.
Hold on.
I even told
Are
them.
you saying you gave them all the info that they have?
Thank you, Tatiana.
No, they already knew stuff. Like I got here, like they already like look, but I mean, like they didn't like quite look like you guys. I mean, like Valentine, like they had the tentacles, but they kind of like the tentacles were all wrong. And like Tatiana, they had you, but you weren't like blue. You were kind of like aquamarine. Like I
How
mean,
did they know about us?
Right when he said that, Desmond walks up to him really closely and just
Hey.
says, "Why?" Not to say you've done anything wrong, but they don't know about me in a way that is very interesting that the rest of this team is seen, and I am not. I'm very curious as to why. Can you enlighten me as to why that is the case?
he leans in very close to you and he says, I didn't tell him about your brother. I'm not supposed to know that, but the Vistani are spies for Von Zarovich, so he kind of told us all. But I didn't tell him, Desmond. I didn't tell him for you, bro. I got you, man. So,
You didn't tell them about my brother,
no,
but you also didn't tell them about me.
no, I did. I told them everything. I even told them that, like, you were like, ah, and they were like, that's not a thing. Werewolves aren't real, which is weird because, I mean, in Barovia, we know werewolves are, like, very real. But, yeah. Okay, all right, here's the thing. Okay, Valentine, I'm sorry. Let's just start with all of that. I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. I got out of Barovia for the first time in my life. I had a home-cooked meal. I got to drink some booze, and everything was good. And then there was, like, other travelers, and I haven't seen them since, but there was like a dude that worked at the carnival. He quit when something like they were like stuck in the ice for 5 years. That didn't make sense to me because I mean I saw you guys like 2 weeks ago. There was this dude who apparently was like a soldier that had met you. There was like somebody who said there was like this like tiefling dude that said something about like he and Tatiana sort of like had a thing for a while, which like
Wait,
hey,
did all
what's
of
up?
them talk about us?
Well, they just ask. Okay.
I'd like to make a telepathic link with Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna, while keeping my eyes on like the collar of his shirt. Desmond, I don't think it is that they don't know about you. I think it's that they don't believe in you or they're not allowed to acknowledge you.
Interesting.
It's very clear that people have talked about you, but there is a air of disbelief around your abilities.
Okay.
And then I'll turn back to Lucio, or turn my attention back to Lucio, and just go, we saved your family.
I told him that.
You didn't think that it would be potentially unsafe to explain every one of our abilities and what we could do?
But I told them how awesome you guys are. They love you here. Like, look at all these people. Like, these people love you.
You also said that there's.
Who's gonna mess with you now?
You can't tell people that.
Hello, everyone. Oh,
Why not?
have things escalated?
We've got a zone of truth going on here. Trying to figure out why there's fuckery about.
Hi, Uriah.
Oh, hello. Listen, I was having a word with the other me's over there, and something very odd is going on. They seem to know quite a bit about us, including some rather recent developments that I'm not sure anyone else knew about. For example, Hildy's status with the carnival.
Apparently, a lot of people have come through here talking about us.
Yes,
They ask.
of course, but here's the thing. They seem to be completely unaware of any of Desmond's exploits or even his existence.
See, that troubles me because, Lucio, you just said that there are no lycanthropes in this area, correct?
I mean, I told them, and they were like, "That's not a thing."
But it very much is.
What do you
I
mean?
think I know how to solve
Orange
problems.
Wait,
Yeah?
hang on 1 second. What was that, Tatiana?
Who's in charge here?
Well, I mean, like, there's this.
Lucio, you seen what my muscles could do to Mr. Self-impersonator?
I mean, normally I wouldn't just say outright I'm kind of into that, but apparently I'm having a crisis of conscience right now. There is just like a director that comes out and just like yells orders at people. She's got like long gray hair. Actually, she doesn't have long gray hair. That was a wig. Actually, she kind of like wears like a green jacket and red boots and like this wide brim hat, and she carries a fiddle. Everybody loves her. Her name is Acriel.
Acriel, that's who we need.
Lucio, has anyone ever asked you to stop talking about lycanthropes?
No, they didn't believe me. They just said that it's obviously I had had a drink or two. Normally, whenever I got around to the stuff, they were like, "Okay, you've had enough, buddy. We're done talking."
I'm going to turn to the party and like huddle, leaving him out of it. If this is a belief of theirs, if this is some reason that they are hiding, that they know there are lycanthropes here, threatening their belief system could result in conflict. And I'm just going to put that out there.
Look, maybe sometimes belief systems need to be questioned.
Do you think that, though, it is because they don't believe in lycanthropes, or is it because that they, for some reason, just don't want to talk about it for reasons that they don't want to discuss it with us in particular?
Nahara, given that you have confirmed the presence of said lycanthropes, I suspect that they are, shall we say, the sheep to their wolves?
Potentially.
And with that, Desmond looks around and just like, is Finn here? I haven't heard anything from Finn about this.
Meanwhile-
Are you Finn? Is this a trick?
Meanwhile, Finn, again, you have this Soth. He's taken his helmet off, and although he's done his makeup to appear like a desiccated corpse person, he is very much alive. Although he has shown you the tooth and given you the big wink that werewolves aren't real. And then kind of just like tucks it back in.
I just kind of tap at his shirt where he's tucked that tooth in. So where'd you get the trinket? I'd like to get one to take home.
I mean, you had what? Now that you've dropped the illusion, the tooth isn't there. You see his eyes just kind of narrow, and he's like, "Found it."
In a wolf?
A wolf that I killed myself because I'm very powerful.
I just saw you get thrown through a building.
I mean, that was by Tatiana. Who can't Tatiana throw through a building? Like, come on.
Eremos.
I could be an Eremos man, like then I don't got to wear this heavy armor no more, and then I could just walk around and just be like buff out in the open. Maybe I could be Eremos right here, and then I don't got to leave the town or nothing. You're a genius, Finn.
Remember, I'm still sitting on this dude.
Yeah. No, he's like very much saying this to you while he's laying on the ground. Like the fact that you could probably kill him doesn't seem to have registered with him at all. He does not seem afraid of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's not trying to like fight and get you off of him either. It's just kind of like the innate ridiculousness of this is like not facing him at all.
I'm actually gonna like tilt his head to the side and bare my fangs.
He's like, is that your way of saying that I should work on me, Hermosa?
You're not tall enough.
Get some stilts. But hey, how'd you do that with the fangs? How'd you actually make them move? Like, I mean, most of the fins, they're like here or they're like over in here. Like, how
Think about it for a minute.
No.
I just push him back down.
Yeah. So cool. Wait a second. Even though werewolves super don't exist, I was just joking about that. I mean, they don't though. If someone was a werewolf and they got bitten by a Dhampir, what would happen? Would they be like a Dhampir werewolf? Because that could be a thing nobody's got in any of their shows. Not that I am one, because they do not exist.
I don't know. Desmond never let me bite him, so.
Who?
That's right. Friend of mine that doesn't exist.
Then give me perception with advantage.
Oh, this man's. Just give me an answer. I get advantage anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be a net 20.
Natural 20. It's like radar, Finn. Again, I'll give you a little bit of insight along with your perception. Again, this guy's not afraid, even though like he knows you're really you, but it's just like there's no fear in him. You're aware of everything that I described before, of the people like actively trying to help each other look more like the rest of the group, including the Finns. The wall that this man had been thrown through, you see a small army has actually already fixed. Like they must have access to at least some magic to put it all back together again. But most importantly, up on the roof of a nearby building, you see a young woman. She is wearing a wide-brimmed hat that is tilted to the side, a green coat that is hanging off of one shoulder, and red boots. And she has a violin that she's just sort of tapping the bow across the strings, but not actually playing. And you see how her head is rotating from the rest of the group to you. She's clearly watching things. She's the only person you have seen so far that did not look like she was dressed like one of you.
And I just kind of like tilt my head and wave at her.
When you see that, she takes the bow and like raises her hat a little and just like nods to you.
I just look at my quarry.
Mm-hmm.
Work on your accent. Maybe you could be Hermos. I said work on your accent.
I'll be quite diligent, I will. Thank you, Finn.
And I'm gonna actually take his necklace.
Hey, what? Well, hang, before you do that, he looks at you and he says, Finn, if the stories about Eremos and Finn are true, maybe you could help me with my research. You know what I'm seeing.
And I just I kind of start shifting into my beast form and just press his head down. I keep pressing until it hurts.
Do you try and take the necklace?
Oh, yeah.
When you reach for the necklace, for the very first time, the friendly facade fades, and he grabs your hands. You can't I mean, we don't.
Who's we?
You can't have the necklace. You can't. And Finn, you recall recently, feels like a lifetime ago, but it was earlier today, when Faranz Alhonen tried to take Desmond's necklace from him to inspect it, Desmond reacted similarly. He's like, well, you can't actually have the necklace.
Hmm.
And he's like, I mean, you know, all like we're having a good time here, and you're Finn, and I respect you, and all jokes aside, you can't have the necklace.
Hmm. It means that much to you, I see.
Yeah. It means
I-
everything to me.
All right, I let it go.
The moment you let it go, smile across his face again, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, well, that's sorry, I'm sensitive about yeah."
I just kind of tap him on the chin. On second thought, maybe you won't be a good Hermos.
When you say that, you can see the woman, even though she's up on the roof, some distance away, laughs. She can hear you, or at least she somehow knows what you're saying. She's like,
Let's go work on your accent.
and he says, "Yes, ma'am."
That's better. And I make a show out of getting off of him, but I leave my fangs down and I look up at the woman and I just go, gesturing, can I join her?
She points her bow at you, and she points her bow towards the group and motions like, "Come on up." And you
All right.
see she turns and walks into the building.
All right, I go to follow her.
Meanwhile, all of the rest of you give me perception checks.
Oh boy. Ooh.
18.
18,
11.
11,
20, ooh,
22.
22, 22.
Also
Hey, Valentine.
Sorry, was it investigation or
Perception.
perception? 24.
Nahara, Valentine, Uriah, all kind of simultaneously taking in this scene. See some distance, I mean, she's maybe 100 yards. See Finn sort of making a point to kind of step on this dude's chest as she gets up and look up at someone that the three of you see the woman as described. Again, she's wearing a white blouse, green coat, kind of hangs off her shoulder, a wide brim hat, red boots, and a violin. And she looks at Finn and she looks right at all of you in sort of motions for you to come up with the bow and turns and walks into the house.
What do you suppose that is?
I would think that's Acriel.
Oh,
She certainly has seemed to be in charge of the situation.
right. Well, if Fen is there, then I don't trust leaving her alone in that situation without.
Enough talk. That's who we need.
All right.
Valentine, before you let go of Lucio, he puts his hand on yours. Not aggressively. He really just puts it on there. And he says, "I wasn't trying to get you guys in trouble. I just wanted to tell people what you've done. You saved us all."
And if we intend to keep saving people, we cannot attract attention like this.
Think it might be a little late for that. Everybody knows who you guys are now. I mean, obviously, it's kind of hard to get most places, but when you get there, everybody's heard the stories.
Valentine, I think there might be forces at work here that go beyond lips loosened by drink. As I say, this information seems remarkably up to date, perhaps supernaturally so.
Maybe. But then why would everyone need to ask questions about us? We should check in with who has that seemingly fresh insight. What was the name that you received, Tatiana?
Riel?
Acriel.
Great. You
That's the
point us
one.
to Acriel.
He very much is like, he's like this tall,
No.
hat.
Take us.
Well, I don't know where she is. Although the
she's-
woman he described is literally right over there, Valentine. You see her.
She's-
Motioning towards us.
You're
That's her,
useless.
that's her
Thank
thing.
you.
Hey, Acriel. Hi. Would you all like to head that direction?
I suppose we should.
Absolutely.
As you all gather, you see Finn coming back the other direction. You see the Soth off in the distance is like removing his armor and like fashioning his shirt into sort of like the half strap type thing that Ermos wears. Like you very much see him like right there in the middle of the road trying to make an Ermos costume.
And just for clarification, Fen looks like Fen again, yes?
And does look like Finn again. Mhm.
Oh, hello, Fen.
Hello, Uriah.
It's very odd. What did our friend have to say?
And I just kind of lean in. Apparently, people like Desmond don't exist. And he gave me a very bad wink.
Yes, there does seem to be some sort of cover-up of such knowledge.
And he would not let me even touch his necklace. That's just like Desmond's.
Interesting. Just so you know, we have it on rather good authority that there are other lycanthropes present. Quite a number of them.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure Soth was one.
For the record, Nahara, even though there are lycanthropes, they're just mixed in with everybody else. You know, I mean, there's lycanthrope Naharas, Uriah, Finn, Valentine, Tatiana. I mean, they don't like they're no way separated or being treated differently. It's just, you know, that guy, that woman, that guy, that woman, you know, interspersed are werewolves.
Perhaps we speak to one of them and ask them.
They're not going to tell you anything. He was all smiles and jovial and even tried flirting when I suggested he be an Eremos until I went for his necklace.
Ooh,
You know,
well,
he would make a good Eremos, actually. Yes. Yes. Sorry.
His accent was atrocious, but he can work on that.
I could try to magically coerce an answer from somebody.
Perhaps before we rely on more forceful techniques, we should see what this lady has to say.
She's standing there the whole time.
She did turn
so-
and walk inside after she sort of motioned. She just went in. Yeah.
I thought I actually went to
lady.
her.
Well, they were heading that way. You are too. You guys are kind of like running into each other in front of the house, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. As you open the door to the house, this place, it also seems like it's kind of one of those framework. Honestly, looks like a set, but more has been done here. Like there's a very lavish bed, there's rugs, there's tables with food sitting on them. It is almost like if someone tried to make an apartment out of base camp. And you see her coming down the stairs and she just says, well.
Well,
As I live and breathe, I never thought I would get to lay my own eyes on the Black Dice Society.
Again, we're still talking about the name. I don't know.
we don't actually call ourselves that, but
You should. It's great.
I mean,
That's
it does have
like,
a rather.
I mean, imagine I could see that written across tabards. I could see it written across steins that you could have. You could make a fortune just on merch off of that.
I don't know. I'm sure it's not that much. Probably high overhead.
I could absolutely imagine a group likeness for a tapestry, perhaps.
You know,
A
now,
tapestry, that's
canvas.
good.
you know, now that I've actually laid eyes on you, I somewhat know my way around a paint set myself. Perhaps I could commission some art. I could give you like a group shot where like Nahara's right in the middle and her wings are all out. You all look fearsome. And then up in the sky, it could be Aslan Rex, Strahd von Zarovich, Voronika. I have to imagine what they must look like. But I guarantee you, it would be killer.
You seem to have us at a disadvantage, madam. You clearly know us.
I am Acriel Lucas. I am the single greatest performer in Cartacus.
Lucas.
Mm.
And Uriah looks over at Desmond.
And Desmond just nods like, mm-hmm.
Hold on, we were looking for someone. I can't remember. I forget. Anyway, why is everyone trying to be us here?
You about to say something, Uriah?
Oh, no, I was about to say the name, and then I realized that perhaps that's not a wise course of action. So Uriah made a little noise like that. Oh,
Uriah, give me a deception check.
Oh no.
oh, deception.
Mm-hmm.
He's not great at that.
Guidance.
With the guidance? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So with the guidance, that'll take it up to a 19.
She got an 18. So Uriah, you see, she looks at you and her eyes narrow a little and she goes, where are you hiding all those secrets in that skinny little body of yours?
Oh, how very, very kind of you. We're very curious as to how it is everyone here seems to know of us.
I mean, why wouldn't they want to be you? Hey, you see, she just motions her hand and the door closes. And she says, you know, they're not ever supposed to break character here in Imhurst. If they are out and about, they're supposed to stick with it. This is actually their auditions because, of course, ultimately, there is only one of each of you. There can only be one of each of them. And then we will have the summer cycle. We will perform. Everyone will come from far and wide to see the tale of the Black Dice Society. Not quite sure how it's going to end just yet, but we got a lot to work with. Lot of material.
I get it. So
We're
they're
not
not
quite sure how it's going to
fans.
end either.
They are aspiring, desperate actors, and that's why they work so hard. I get it.
You
Makes a
know,
lot of sense.
as they say in the foreign lands, porque no los dos. You know, I mean, they are doing it from a place of love, Tatiana. The Tatianas want to be Tatianas because they want to be you. Who wouldn't want to be you? Look at you, my Lord in heaven. Look at that quadricep definition. Girl, sorry, I almost forgot myself. Yes, of course. They want to be famous. Like everyone in Cartacus wishes for. Like the chosen few have accomplished.
So you're missing someone from the ensemble, however.
Am I?
Yes.
Is a rather glaring omission.
It feels really petty the way you said, am I? Like you definitely know and
Yes.
you just have a grudge or something?
There's absolutely no way that everybody could know this much about us and yet leave out a very, very important factor in our
Desmond leans in and just says, oh, hi.
She looks you up and down, and you all are very clear. She knows him when she looks right at him. But with her natural 20 on deception, she's unreadable. It's like she must know, but there's nothing. There's no crack in the facade. She just looks at you and smiles.
I just turn to everybody else, given that, you know, we shuck out some confession earlier. Should I?
Ooh.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. Am I to understand that you're in charge here?
Well, they'd heard stories about my supreme artistry, my bardship, if you will. There's difficult to define what it is that I can do with this here fiddle. And they asked me to come and oversee this year's production. Apparently, they needed someone in charge of casting. They needed someone with a true talent and a true vision, a Lucas that was actually a performer.
Yes, Lucas. I don't suppose you're any relation to, and again, he sort of looks over to Desmond.
Harkon. Harkon's who he's looking for.
The moment you say that, the chill veneer for a fraction of a second drops. And she looks at you and her eyes kind of narrow, and then the smile comes back again, and she says, "Oh, Harkon, Lucas. Well, nobody's seen him, and who can say? He used to be something hot, but what can I say? The newer, younger model came on the scene."
You are a relation then?
I mean, he might be my daddy if you want to get, precise about it. But I mean, that don't mean not all skin folk is kinfolk. You know what I mean? Just because we happen to share a bloodline doesn't mean we share a relationship.
Wow.
It's
very telling.
I'm sorry, that must be difficult.
Meanwhile, Harkon, you absolutely are aware of your daughter, Acriel. Painfully, she is not exaggerating the extent of her fame. She is very well known throughout Cartacus, and everything she told them about why they invited her here is absolutely true. You are lurking nearby, as you always are. You tell me when, how, if the elder Lucas would like to make his presence known.
I think Harkon came up, has been sticking to the shadows, listening, watching, judging some of these auditions, watching how horrible some of these people are, even trying to fix someone's wig. Like, that's not Tatiana. But meanwhile, just always figuring out where the true individuals are. And once he knows that a certain daughter of his is having a conversation, he'd be close enough to listen, but he's not entering just yet.
Although the people here infuriatingly forget your greatness, Harkon. However often you remind them, they just lose track and are taken in by the next shiny thing. This land, Cartacus, all of it is yours. If you want shadows to hide in, there are shadows to hide in.
And that's what he does. And he'll make sure that he can't be seen, but he can hear everything. A director needs to know the ins and out of the stage that they have built.
Absolutely. You have 100 ways to get into this room if you so choose, and you very much are aware of the conversation taking place inside, up to and including Acriel saying the newer, younger model has come along. Everybody liked the thing he did. He can pluck a mean fiddle with a bleeding heart on occasion if you're into that sort of provincial stuff. Mine is more fiery. I'd like to elicit a feeling in the blood, such as it is. Would y'all like a little? And she just like plucks one string.
Yes, I would love that. And I like grab my lyre. I'm like, I'm a bot as well.
She looks at you and she's like, oh, duet?
Yes.
Duet.
Just as as a precaution, Uriah actually is going to cast resistance on himself. So just in case a will save is required.
Desmond sees that and does the same.
Can you play,
Wow.
I like to request a banger. You know what I
banger.
mean when I say banger?
She looks at you and she goes, I do hope I know what you mean when you say banger.
Oh, it's like that.
Oh, it absolutely
Okay.
can be. You know, how you doing? Okay. And she-
I prestidigitate some very sexy music when that happens.
Nahara, roll 4 times and take the highest.
Okay.
The moment you reach for the strings of the lyre, you are, of course, a accomplished musician, Nahara, but it's like something's guiding you. It's like the music is playing itself through you.
Now, am I adding anything? Or is this just a straight
Performance.
Oh, performance check. Okay, let's see. 22.
Is you all have heard Nahara play her lyre before idly around the camp, when Acriel begins to play, she's incredible. It's you kind of can't help it. She does play this very like fast-paced, intense thing, and the lyre's usually a mellow instrument, and yet it blends seamlessly with Nahara, and it is, you feel like you could fight a house a few seconds into her playing, and she's like stomping her foot the whole time, like yeah. And you see outside the people kind of start gathering kind of around. The curtains are drawn, but you can see their shadows, and they're like, oh, it's Acriel. Is that Nahara playing with her too? Oh my, I gotta work on my lute skills. Oh my goodness. Oh, and they do jam out, and it is probably the best music you've ever heard. Harkon, you would never admit it. She really is magnificent.
Listen, it runs in the family. But seeing the crowd starting to gather, he didn't care about a little duet. But once the crowd started gathering and really enjoying this, you see his eyes like slowly becoming bloodshot. But as that subsides, he just takes his violin and plucks three specific notes. And as he does, there's a silence that goes in the room.
It is, as quickly as the song starts, it stops.
And I was just gonna say, like, Nahara's starting to sing at this point, and so you do that awkward thing where like you're singing really loud as soon as the music stops, but you keep going for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And once there is a moment of realization that it's quiet, he enters.
You, as the door opens, Harkon, you all see the crowd outside, and most of them don't move, but you see some of them immediately tuck tail and run. Nahara, you're aware it's the lycanthropes. The lycanthropes all go. Everybody else is like, oh, why'd the music stop? And in the doorway, you all see a man. Harkon Lucas is not particularly imposing. He looks like a man in his mid-40s. He's wearing the same thing Acriel's wearing, but it is immediately obvious to you that, like, she's taken his look and zhizhed it up. Harkon is also wearing a red coat, red boots, wide-brimmed hat, with a red violin in his hand. And you see, she turns and looks at him and goes, oh, hey, Daddy. I was just giving a little show here, but I mean, we might be able to find some space on the card for you. And she walks over and is going to kiss you on the cheek if you let her.
He does let her. He lets her. He'll even like wrap an arm around. But as she does, his eyes are just scanning, looking at the group, and
I won't even make any of you roll. It is the sappiest, most performative thing ever. Daddy, hi. Mwah! The biggest show for in front of you and the people that can still see through the open door.
Oh, so she gets it from her daddy, honestly.
Sounds about right.
Interesting.
I've always said that the sound of silence is the best song, but this duet was efficient.
Thank you.
She looks at you, Harkon, and you can tell she's about to say something sassy. indictment.
I give her, I look at her, and there is a level of, I'm still your daddy. Like,
And the transmission is immediately received. And she's like, it's one thing to disrespect you when you're not around. It's quite something else when you're standing right there. Yeah. She goes, well, allow me to introduce you to, they say they don't actually call themselves the Black Dice Society, although I told them they could make a fortune and merch off of that. This is Nahara, Finn, Brother Uriah, Tatiana Valentine,
and Desmond.
And she motions her hand again and the door slams, leaving all of you in here with the audience trapped outside.
Oh, so you know of Desmond, Mr. Lucas?
I think I get it. I think I get it. Are you an actor, Lucas?
The best there ever was.
Okay.
Of course, I know all of you and your exploits. I mean, it was I who gave you your name, but not many choose to remember that.
That was from you, Daddy. I knew that somebody just started talking about it. It makes sense. It's such a good idea. It had to be
Hold
from
on,
you,
hold on,
Daddy.
hold on. We've never seen you before. How do you get to name us?
Just as easy as a individual who has a newborn. The name is given even before they are seen by the world.
Are you comparing us to a newborn?
My daddy is a marketing genius. Though.
Also, are there not other options? Father? Dad?
What's wrong with my daddy?
It just feels a little excessive.
It's a culture thing. I don't think
He
you
is a
understand.
daddy.
We're not
You're
here to
saying
worry
a lot.
about their family.
Now you made it
Right.
weird, Tatiana. Oh.
What? I made it weird?
If I may.
It's weird. It's a bit weird now.
You came on to me.
And you're saying it a lot. Like it's multiple times per sentence.
I believe
But
Desmond
yes,
wanted a word.
Yes, Desmond. As she very much is continuing to bicker with Tatiana and Valentine about the validity of calling her daddy. Desmond, you say what?
I believe it was made weird when someone who I've never met knew who I was when we arrived. In addition to apparently this thing being kind of important. So, newborn or not, I remember us having a discussion about this. So it's very intriguing that you could say that you named us. And we discussed our name.
Are you angry about a simple little name, a name that has a reputation? You see the fans that you all have. You're welcome.
I don't think
Enough.
anger is the word.
Okay, I know it's complicated, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm not super mad. It's pretty cool to watch everybody,
I mean, it wasn't done in an attempt to be disrespectful. Think about it.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Lucas. I suppose, I guess the question is, if you're the one ultimately responsible for all this, why you seem to have omitted Desmond from our stories?
You knew who he was.
Well,
Tatiana figured it out before everyone else. This is a special day.
I could answer that question, and he locks eyes with Desmond. I think there's more that this one might be interested in knowing. I mean, all of you. You come here to my home, to my abode, to my stage, and I don't think you care for the adoring fans, but this one, I'm an open book.
Good, because I have some questions.
And here, having come face to face with Harkon Lucas, the man, theoretically, can answer all the questions at the forefront of not just Desmond's mind, but perhaps even a few of the rest of you. Seems like a fantastic place. Can't even tongue-tied. I'm so excited. Take a little break. So let's do a quick 10 Don't go nowheres, and we will come back to what I'm sure is fine with them being locked in the room with the Dark Lord and his daughter. So, be right back. And we are back. Cartacus. A domain where literally all the world is a stage. You all are now here in Imhurst. An entire town, settlement that is a stage, masking a labyrinthine underground structure of caves, rooms, and other passageways that extend deep into the earth for miles in all directions. Here in the center of town, you all were waved in by a young woman you'd been told was in charge, Acriel, who very modestly told you that she is the most famous person in all of Cartacus, that her father was a big deal at one point, if you were into that, but now she is what the people wanted. And after a small demonstration of her truly spectacular skill, the man himself, Harkon Lucas, was forced to intervene. Upon revealing himself, everyone in the crowd that Nahara was able to easily identify as lycanthropes turned and ran. Everyone else still cheering outside, trying to get some hopeful peek inside of what's going on. But you get the distinct impression that they still are trying to see Acriel, not Harkon, before the door was slammed. Now you're all inside. Desmond was about to pose one of what is probably several questions to Harkon, who stands before you, his doting daughter having, again, completely approximated and improved his look. Her attitude has definitely dulled somewhat in his actual presence, turning immediately seamlessly into hype woman, trying to back in, put a little bit of punctuation, dare we say pizzazz, on everything that Harkon is saying and doing. And with that, we re-enter our scene.
So, the most important question that I can imagine is, where's my father?
Before we get to that, you saved the best for last, of course, but I believe in every opening night, the cast, the creative team, the crew, they all get a little gift, a little thank you for the work that they have done. It would be very rude of me not to give you something. A show of good faith. A show that I am not here to be the enemy in your stories. For now, at least. Who knows which way the wind will blow. But still. And he has this satchel that's been around him. And he looks and says, I will not force any of you to take anything, but if someone would like to go first to volunteer.
Acriel immediately shoots her hand up.
Not you.
I'll do
If
it.
anyone doesn't want theirs, I'll take it.
Gifts.
He looks at Tatiana, knowing what Desmond just said, hearing Nahara, but he looks at Tatiana and says, you, I've heard a lot about you. Your strength, both in and out, is almost unmatched.
No one ever talks about my inner strength. Thank you.
Oh, that's the most important. You can be physically strong, but it's what's inside that makes you truly the person that you are, for lack of a better word.
I never considered that before.
I know there are those who you might have to deal with soon enough. We all have our demons, our beast. He looks at Finn when he says that and then looks back at Tatiana. We all have things within us. And I know that there's something I can do. So why not? And he reaches into the bag and he pulls out what seemed to be a pair of leather gloves. There's gold etching kind of throughout. It's kind of random. And you can see there's clearly silver thread holding the leather together to create these hand items, if you will. And he holds them out to you. And as he holds them up, there is almost like a manifested music note. Hold it up as you see a mage hand form, and they float over to you.
Do you take the gloves, Tatiana?
Of course I do. I reach out and grab them. You made these just for me and you thought about my inside and outside strong?
Tatiana, the moment that you take them in your hand, you always feel powerful. You're Tatiana. But you feel like energetic, like you could go indefinitely, as he has given you a pair of gloves of soul catching, which will allow you to be even more fearsome, both barehanded and in your wild-shaped forms.
Hold on. These are animal-safe gloves, huh?
They're much more than that.
Go on, please.
They will revitalize you, so I'm told. And perhaps a little extra juice, a little extra, a thing or two, but you'll have to figure that out yourself.
You see Acriel very much like leans in and looks at him, and she says, "You can slap the spirit out of somebody with those." Like, wow. Daddy, why didn't you ever give me any gloves of soul catching?
You're lucky I gave you my talent.
This is incredible. Okay, everybody, I meant it. I like this guy.
You see she very much kind of like hugs the violin close to her chest, and she goes, "That is the greatest gift of all. That's true. That's true. That's true."
And as he watches Tatiana take it in, his eyes just kind of scan to see if anybody else is eager to accept it or get something, or he'll pick someone.
Fen isn't eager, but she noticed that look you gave her.
Mm-hmm.
And she just tilts her head up and looks at him. What was that stare for as you gave Tatiana her gift? You called me a demon.
No. I would never call you a demon. However, you are fierce, fearsome. You are extravagant with your weaponry, with your spiteful words, with your... There is something about you, something not many understand you. Understood, past tense, present tense, doesn't matter. But there is something within you that is quite strong enough to not only think for yourself, but for others, even sacrificing something so dear to you.
Be careful, that is a road you should not travel.
It's a road I have traveled quite often.
When it comes to what I've given up, that road is closed.
What if I told you that the road can reopen? And I reach into the bag and I pull out a very, very nice diamond. But as you look inside, there's crimson, something red, deep within this prism.
Are you proposing?
I believe you already have a love. But And he holds it out to you. This could potentially lead you to her.
And before you even take it from his hand, I won't even make you roll. It is a scent that you know, a scent that has lingered on the edge of all of your senses since you lost her. You immediately know that's some of Isolde's blood. You'd know her scent anywhere.
How did you get this?
I'll be quite honest, that's not the important question to ask. I can get what I need to get.
I just give him a very long stare before I hold my hand out.
And he'll turn his hand upside down and drop it into her hand. Not drop it, but let it fall into her grip.
The moment it falls into your palm, Finn, you just have every warm memory of when you were together, every quiet evening of her braiding your hair, just every nice time that was always all too short in the difficult years you had together. It's even, it's a gem, but it just feels like she's with you again.
And Fen just gives him one last distrustful look before sliding it into a pocket.
Acriel, for the first time, kind of slides up next to you, Finn, and she says, "You know what you can do with a bloodstone, right?"
With what?
A bloodstone. I know it's got blood in it. I don't know why it's called a bloodstone. I figured, did Strahd talk like that? I heard stories that he was like, the blood, the Strahd. Did he? It doesn't matter. But what this can help you do, it can help you find her, but it can help you find any of her kin. Like, I know about her brothers and sisters. I mean, I don't know. I heard the stories. But if they're alive anywhere, you can find them. You can find her.
We'll talk later.
She turns and looks at you, Harkon, and she says, "I don't need a bloodstone because I know where all my kin is, Daddy."
Ugh.
Even your elusive brother.
I mean, why you gotta be bringing him up and bringing down this fine establishment? Just because he don't want to be a Lucas, let him go do whatever he wants to do somewhere else. Cartacus is the best place anywhere.
He's tried to leave. You guys let that sit, and he looks at Valentine, Nahara, Uriah, kind of just watching them for a moment. Any takers?
Are my spidey senses tingling from my magic items? Because usually when something bad's about to happen, like either I feel it from like the orb or my cards. Nothing?
I mean, Nahara, I think in your life, you've known that the only free cheese has been in a mousetrap, but I mean, you've seen him give these powerful relics to Tatiana and Finn without asking for anything in return.
I think he actually looks at Nahara. I think there's a level of he's reading. He says, now, don't be so apprehensive. You, of all of these fine individuals, I feel like you could be a queen if you wanted to.
No one's ever said that to me. Why? I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Why this generosity? I mean, I don't want to be rude, but you have to understand we've faced so many hardships that things like this don't normally happen to us. So I hope you understand. The hesitation is not.
Hesitation is a way of life. Hakuna Matata, or whatever they say in those other places. But I believe that there is a balance, equilibrium, if you will. There's chaos, despair, strife, woe. But there's order, peace, joy, happiness. Why should I put forth melancholy in your lives? I can look at you and see that you've already felt that.
It's true.
Just because it exists doesn't mean I need to add to it. So why not tip the scales the other way? You should understand fate more than many.
That is wise. I will just say that joy and laughter and all of these things are things that have not come to pass for us very often. I'm not sure why that is, or what reason for it. I feel terrible for having to be so suspicious towards somebody showing any kindness, but in reality, we have not seen a lot of kindness.
Then allow me to show you a little more. But first, can I see your cards?
Oh, you mean these cards?
She holds up a very well-worn Baroka deck, Harkon. The edges of it, some of them are singed, burned. They've been subjected to fire, flame, acid, all manner
Facts.
of things.
You've been through a lot. Your time, your trials and tribulations, all accumulating into a specific moment, not the end of your journey, but a stamping point. I know that someone, a certain vampiric lord, was killed.
Yes.
So, as a victory gift, if you will, those have seen ages. That story has come to an end. Allow me, and he reaches into his bag, to let a new story unfold. And he holds out a very, very ornate deck.
Nahara, you see, even as it emerges from his bag, for the first time, really, since you've been in Cartacus, you become acutely aware of the presence of the spirits. It is like there are suddenly around 14 more people in the room. They don't appear, you just know they're around the moment you lay eyes on the deck.
I believe you could use these better than most.
Thank you.
Nahara, you have gained, well, as you look at it, you see strange markings that you somehow understand. You just innately, and you don't get the sense that it is from one of your previous lives. It is not something that Tatiana knew. You're just aware of the Vistani markings that are already written all over these cards, and they very much pulse with life. As you have gained Mother Luba's Taroka deck of souls. I need you to roll percentile 4 times. Give it to me in chat.
Okay.
But you realize this is very old and has passed through many hands.
And am I You want the highest or the lowest, or
But no, just give me all four.
Just
N-
all
no,
four?
no particular order. You can just drop them in chat
okay?
4 times.
And
While Harkon Lucas has been speaking with Nahara and all these things he's been saying, Uriah is going to be trying to use insight.
He's inscrutable, Uriah. I won't even ask you to roll. If he wasn't there if you couldn't see that he was breathing and the perspiration on his brow, it would almost be like this man doesn't exist. It's just
Not a great sign. Yes.
I rolled so weird, y'all.
mhm.
Well, I suppose I could go next.
when Harkon looks at you, Uriah, it's not that he's disgusted. That's the wrong word. But that there is a look of uncertainty, of confusion. But it quickly fades away. Brother Uriah.
Yes, that's me, Mr. Lucas.
Have you
Uh,
enjoyed the fans outside?
Oh yes, they've all put in a lot of effort. Very, 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 very creative. I'm not quite sure what they all made their hats from, but there was some very interesting materials used. So, if this is an opening night gift, I suppose I should say, break a leg. Did I get that right?
There's a smile that comes across his face, and he says, "You are an abnormality. You are a glitch in the system.
I beg your pardon.
We are surrounded, even in Cortacus, by," and he looks back at Nahara, going back to her words, "by the most unnecessary amount of negativity, of destruction, just pure desolace. Yet you exist. You, this blinding light. Darkness can't sit within you, even though," and he you see his eyes flash in a sense that he's trying to read, and they just go back to normal. Even though there's something that even I can't understand. You are a gift in yourself. You can traverse these places and not be corrupted. Your heart so pure. I would say it's quite impressive. But even that frightens me.
I frighten you?
I am not this omnipotent. Well, I'm not above emotion, if you understand. I am an actor, after all. Performer must give in to those feelings, those carnal needs. But your light, it's not for me, but it's for you, and that's what matters. And I think, and he looks at everyone, you are the only one who could use this. And he reaches into his bag and he pulls out a book. It's golden, and there's a feathery motif on top of it. It's quite thick. And he hands it to you, but you can tell that he doesn't want to touch it. As a matter of fact, as he holds it, a mage hand appears underneath and he just steps away.
Oh, thank you.
See, Acriel also very much moves back away from the book, as it is glowing, golden, beautiful. And she just kind of looks at it and she's like, "That looks dumb."
It's not for me.
You take
But it's
the
for
book,
you.
Brother Uriah.
Yes, I'll touch it first. See if there's any effects.
Honestly, when you touch it, you just feel good, Uriah. It is similar as when you were in the Feywild, when for the first time in your life, you'd kind of known life without the crushing, ambient, oppressive nature of the dread domains. It just feels peaceful, warm.
Huh. But they say there's nothing like a good book, and this certainly seems to be a good book.
And they also say there's no place like home, but still.
Do you take the book?
I shall.
You all see as Uriah takes the book of exalted deeds into his possession,
Mhm.
a literal halo starts to appear around him, just an ambient glow around his head. He looks divine. Also, Valentine, Acriel's right. This book is super stupid.
This is a very generous gift, sir, and I thank you for it.
It's not like I could use it anyway. Enjoy it and that above you.
Yes. Interesting. And Uriah begins flipping through the book.
As you start flipping through the book, Uriah, you start seeing images form. Images of you all. Of every time you threw yourselves into harm's way for each other. Every time one of you fell and another one jumped in front to protect them. Every time you all truly fought and struggled and triumphed. Every victory, however small, just appears on the pages as you flip through them. Every time you were your best selves, it's in the book. All of you.
This is amazing. Is this how you knew of us? But no, you
Oh,
said
no.
you said
I
you couldn't.
don't. That is an abomination to this. I just knew that you could handle it.
Thank you. Yes, I shall need some time to ponder this.
Apparently, we have no secrets.
Hara looks
Funny.
a little worried.
he looks at Valentine.
I will say,
Okay.
Uriah, as you're flipping through, again, you realize there's definitely times that you've all done things you weren't proud of. None of that's in the book. Like, there is Finn battling Nepenthe is in the book with Isolde in the background. There is Valentine standing over your unconscious body fighting the body taker plant, like to protect you. It is, again, it is only your best moments.
But just thinking about what other lives I might not know of and what would be in there that I wouldn't know about
Well, that is something
causes me.
we'll have to ask Uriah about separately. Yes, Harkon.
No, he's fine. He there is a smile that comes across his face as Uriah takes in this book, but then when Valentine speaks, his gaze looks over to her. Tell me, how do you like that book?
Feels like a strange depiction of our history, all things considered. We're not quite as pristine as the book seems to present us.
I'm going to say something, and it's going to sound like an insult, but the truth is not an insult. It merely is. Out of everyone here, you could never wield that book.
I know.
But that's what I like about you. You're so carefree, so unheld by anyone. You are, how they say in this performance circuit, a femme fatale. Nice heels, by the way.
She looks at the heels but does not say thank you.
But there is someone, something that has a hold on you. You know, I've never been to Bluetspur.
I can't recommend it.
Valentine, as Harkon is talking to you and he mentions Bluetspur, it occurs to you Tregram hasn't said a thing to you since you got here.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I don't want to know, but I know. And I think that nothing should hold you down. Do you agree?
I do.
So what if I said, I can help you free yourself?
No, I would
Note,
ask for the fine print.
if I could speak in this language, I would. It's not my tongue. I've dabbled, but can't seem to get the syllables. However, I believe this is fine print enough. And as he reaches in his bag and pulls out, there's gold mask? No, it's like a crown. No, it goes on your face in some way, shape, or form. But more importantly, there are 5 draconic heads coming off of it. And he says, you can do wonders. This will help those wonders come to pass. Thus saith me.
Where does this come from?
I could tell you, or it can show you.
Valentine, do you accept the mask?
I do.
As you take it in your hands, you feel power, terror. You feel like nothing and no one could stop you. That you could bring ruin to whole entire worlds on a whim. It feels destructive and free and good. Not good. It feels good. Even as you hold it in your hands.
Without putting it on, she tucks it away into the satchel on her side very carefully, like wrapping it in an extra piece of cloth that's in there.
You see, as you're doing this, Acriel is like very much looking at you. I mean, if you don't want it,
She
I mean,
just
maybe
physically pushes her face away.
we could arrange a trip. Oh, okay. All right. That's also Uriah. Roll percentile 4 times and put it in chat for me, please.
Thank you, Harkon.
No need to thank me yet. You can thank me when you are freed yourself. That brings me to you, dear Desmond.
Dean. Somehow I get the feeling you've already given me a gift. And this is long before we ever met.
If you want to be specific, I didn't give you anything. I did give your father something, yes.
And what is this about?
You can't tell.
I can't take it off. Give it away, that's for sure. I imagine others here probably have the same leanings. I'm just curious as to what it is. Somehow I get the feeling it's connected to you.
He reaches and holds up a necklace that is very identical that he is wearing. And he looks at it and he says, "You're not wrong. Your father, what's his name again? 000. You know, he and I were packmates, right?
This is the first time learning of it, so please enlighten me.
He and I ran together back in my home. Known him for quite some time. You know, I helped him take over Cosmo.
Really?
The elves were a problem, but I can handle things.
I imagine that's where I get my handling of things, in a way.
Of course. I planned, I'm a strategist, if you will. I planned to have him take over for a little while. And then the kingdom would belong to me. That didn't happen.
And then what happened?
Nephew, do you really want to know how I murdered your father?
As he finishes that sentence,
Actually, let me just say one thing, Desmond. Even before, as he says this to you, you feel something go through you. You feel the beast awaken in a way that you haven't felt since you were in the Feywild. You feel the full sum total of your lycanthropic ability pulsing through your veins, like someone has opened up a dam. Yes.
I'm gonna say one quick thing. You can continue.
Mhm.
And he just says, before that tail comes, I still have to give you something.
Your birthright. And what would that be?
Continue.
Desmond, the power is at your command. And you said, as he says this, let me just say one other thing, because I have no idea where this is about to go. All of you, these relics that you were given, they all require attunement. Attunement is a lengthy process. It usually takes over an hour, and yet you find if you intend to have full use of it, you do. No time required. Yes, please, Desmond.
the second he says, murdered your father, Desmond just feels that power pulsing through him and looks him in the eye.
Tell me why I shouldn't do everything in my power to eat your heart. I know I couldn't decide between your head and your heart. You choose.
He looks over at his daughter.
Who is, her eyes are like dinner plates. She's like watching all this.
I adore you, but you should probably leave.
I'd like to stop her from leaving.
You see, she does start backing
I'm
up.
gonna grab on the back of her clothes and pull her right up next to me.
Like, it's been a wonderful pleasure meeting.
Oh,
hey.
no. Anything that happens to us happens to your daughter.
She looks at you and she goes, well, Valentine. I mean,
I sincerely hope that that's nothing. Don't you?
I mean, I'm more than just a pretty face, though, Valentine. I mean, I am my father's daughter. You sure you don't want me to leave?
And I see the moment happening with Valentine and Acriel, but I'm not worried about that. Acriel can handle herself. Just look back at Desmond.
Well, important point of clarification, at least for the moment, is Valentine. Oh, you stunned him out of existence. At least for the moment. That's how mad he got. Valentine. At least for now.
I cast Avard's black tentacles on her to
I was about to
restrain
say,
her.
you are going to not let her go. All
Correct.
right, perfect. This is a little bit of a pickle since of how this is about
Yes,
to go down.
more
It's
people in the
somewhat-
fight. Yes.
Somewhat dependent on Desmond. But for now, yes, I'm registering your intent to not let her leave.
But to cast a spell that should restrain her.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Should it work?
Hang on, give me 1 second here. The more I move this around, the worse it will be when he comes back. But we have Harkon Lucas is split in half currently.
Whoop whoop.
Go to the other one.
Oh, let me see what happens if I go to the other one. Y'all are seeing this in real time, y'all. Still
Or we do.
not quite.
Do we take 5?
No, I don't want to take 5. We're short on time. But
There we go. Stay leaning. Stay leaning.
it's true. Hang on, no, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work. We're gonna make sure that you get your proper credit and framing. Harkon, hold on, sorry. In the meantime, as all of this is playing out, what are the rest of you doing?
I have
was-
tried on my glove and it's ready to slap.
I also did put on a
Harkonnen.
mask too. That's a great
Mhm.
point, Tatiana.
You know what we can do? I was kind of handling this behind the scenes, but this is also interesting while we wait for Desmond's re-emergence from his lycanthropic state. Some of your abilities have minor and major properties that you have also inherited. So let me tell you what some of those major and minor properties that are. What they are. Okay. I actually cannot see the screen, so if he comes back, please someone tell me, and we will jump right back into the action.
Will do.
But for Nahara,
Question. Yeah. Do we,
yes,
in the order that we sent you the rolls,
yes.
are the first 2 the minor or the major first?
Well, for you in particular, you have
back.
2 minor. Oh, he's back. Never mind.
Hello, me.
Forget all that. But
Drag them to
now,
switch.
Now I gotta swip you around. But see, that's it. Not all werewolves are the same werewolves.
Oh, Harkon Lucas briefly.
That's true. You know, you can.
I was being sassy and then was muted.
Oh no.
Couldn't hear you. Sorry. Yeah.
Miss the sass.
Well then.
You did.
You all have in chat there how to figure out what your things are. But yes, Desmond, I believe you were trying to say something when the fates decided you wouldn't be.
I don't know how much you heard of what I said at all, if anything.
You want to take my heart or my head or something?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. That was you couldn't
your heart or
choose.
your head
So
was the last point. Yes.
that was pretty much it. And then my internet decided to
Disagree.
Jump reckless. That's fine.
Dramatically. That was what. So Valentine grabs Acriel. Acriel kicks the router. Like boom. You know. Like now nobody's fighting.
you're not fighting my daddy. No.
That was her
Harkon?
magic item.
How
He,
that's it. Internet
yeah.
access is her actual power. Yeah.
As Desmond speaks, there is just a very slight grin, and he, nephew, you don't understand how this play works. Your father couldn't stop me, and you believe you can.
You're gonna try. So please enlighten me as to why I shouldn't.
I could enlighten you. But where's the fun in that? So consider this your audition. and you see his body begin to shift and crack as you see a fur begin to grow all over his form. And he says,
You only get one shot. I advise you play your part well. And he lets his claws extend.
You all see Harkon turns into the biggest werewolf you've ever seen, even bigger than the werewolf you saw in Barovia, serving Strahd. His head goes up to where you thought would bust through the rafters of this building, but it is almost like they move out of the way. Valentine, before we begin, since you did say it outright, what is the save on your black tentacles?
So question, is it daytime or nighttime?
Honestly, it's up to Harkon. When is it? It was daytime.
it's probably daytime.
I was about to say this land is yours. It is day or night as you command.
Okay.
Oh, you want the stage lights. You want everything. If you want to perform, then we're performing. It's light outside.
That's about. I thought you were going to go with the full moon. So yes, either way, this is delightfully extra.
So the save is 17.
Okay. You see. Hold on. Well, what kind of save, by the way?
That is, let me check. I just closed it. That is a dex save of 17.
You see, as the tentacles come up out of the floor, she just looks down at them and then looks up at you and she says, well, I guess I'll be extra famous for this. And she also jumps back out of this and turns into a particularly hulking werewolf. And just kind of like smiles at you and bares her fangs and just says, I would have just left, but now I guess it's time for the show. And everybody roll initiative. I will roll for you, Harkon.
Got it.
Harkon is going on a natural 20, so he will be first unless somebody ties with that.
Thanks.
No, I got a dirty 20.
Acriel is also going pretty quick. Hang on, let me get in here.
Tatiana has never worn gloves before and therefore rolled a 4.
That's true. You're like
Hold on.
Yeah.
What am I? Yeah.
When you have one on, how do you get it's wrong hands?
You said there was a dirty 20 from Nahara.
Yes.
Finn, initiative, and your question.
Fen is so discombobulated by the bloodstone, she fumbles and gets a 3.
Or nor.
A lot's happening in here. Did I hear that was a 4 for Tatiana?
Correct.
And I sent you my spell.
Saint Uriah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really glad I don't have to spend 80 hours reading that book.
I don't know
In
that
fact,
you've been in the mist for 80 hours, honestly,
Yeah.
laid end to end. This has been a highly eventful week and a half. But yes, go ahead.
So that is initiative 17 for you, Ryan.
17. Desmond.
10.
I'm gonna let you roll with initiative, with advantage, Desmond, because
Perfect.
this is things are going right now. Valentine, 18. Valentine.
15.
I believe that is everybody. Nahara, Desmond, Saint Uriah, Valentine, Tatiana, Finn, Lucas, and Acriel. That's everybody, right? Unfortunately for you, the Dark Lord of the Dread Domain of Cartacus, Harkon Lucas, is first.
He looks at everyone else, seeing them, getting ready to duck if you buck. Totally fine. But he stares at Desmond and he says,
Act 1, Scene 1. My claws. Your stomach. And he's going to attack. A lot. Yeah.
Desmond, I sent you the new stat block there, if you saw.
Oh, I saw that. That
Yeah.
made me very happy.
Yeah.
I was very happy. Very
Thought you
excited
might.
about it because reasons.
Our boy's grown up. Yes.
And I'm going to ask out loud because I'm a butt, but I'm pretty sure he has pack tactics, doesn't
Yeah, I believe having your daughter nearby would count as
Yep.
tactics.
Sorry, friend. That is well, that's actually pretty low. 18 to hit. Desmond.
Is 18 enough, Desmond?
Yes.
Okay,
I don't
great.
want to say it out loud because I dislike it.
I'm gonna do.
And we
I'm
were
gonna
like,
do damage.
we had already had a long rest before all this.
You
Yeah,
were all rested.
All right, cool.
You were all full
Appreciate ya.
power before this happened.
I'm gonna do damage. I'm gonna do damage at the end for ease. The second
Please
will
do.
definitely hit with a 27. Oh, that's a crit and a natural 1. I am sorry.
No, you can give me the damage when you have. You can either roll it if you like, or you can give me the averages. Whatever you prefer.
Oh, no. We're gonna have fun. That's going to be enough. Here we are. Thanks. Yeah, that's going to be. You got lucky.
I will say, while you're totaling this up, Acriel sees you go in on him, and she actually sees you miss a couple of times, Harkon. And all of you, although she clearly is monstrous right now, you see a very satisfied look on her face when Harkon can't kill Desmond instantly. And she says, I think we need to open up the curtains for everyone. And she turns and just runs through the nearest wall, smashing the side out of this building. And you see the crowd outside turns and sees 3 werewolves and begins screaming immediately. Everybody give me deck saves as this building is going to come down on your heads as she has knocked the wall out and run outside.
Dirty 20.
Easily get outside.
18.
Also make it out, Valentine.
That is a 19 for Uriah.
Surprisingly spry, Breath of Uriah, high kneeing out of here.
17.
17. Tatiana.
Crit
Also
Hey.
easily out of
with
the way.
advantage.
Desmond.
Desmond is proficient, but he still only got a 14.
Harkon, knowing he's going to be in here as the house comes down on him, and you now have an audience, do you attempt to leave or do you stay in here and take it as it's collapsing?
The house?
Yep.
I'll take it. I was focused on it on attacking. I'll let the house do that.
Well, I mean, if he ain't scared, how would it look like if you were scared? All of the rest of you escape outwards. Harkon and Desmond. Actually, hold on one second. Double check something. Both take 16 points of damage as you all see these 2 monsters going at it in here, and the building begins actively collapsing on them as the rest of you make it out before it does. And Acriel holds her head up and howls, which is odd to see something howling at the sun, but you start to hear other voices begin howling in response all around as she does this. What was that total damage for Desmond?
67 points of slashing, 25 points of what's the word I'm looking for?
Piercing?
I'm sorry, not 25. 23 points of force damage.
Force. Interesting. Is you see Harkon explodes all over him. That is also it for Acriel.
That's me.
Nahara, it is your turn. You have made it out of the building. Acriel is outside howling. You clearly see Harkon and Desmond fighting as everything is collapsing around them.
I'm going to bonus action Form of Dread. And then I'm going to cast, one moment, please. Oh, I just lost it. Ralathim's Psychic Lance.
I don't even know what that is, but I want it.
On Harkon.
What save is that for him?
That is an intelligence save. Yeah.
I will let you roll that, Harkon, because you have his numbers. I will keep track of his hit points so you don't have to.
What'd you get?
28.
28. Well, you take half damage. Ooh.
Also, after Nahara is Desmond in the initiative.
So you take 19 points of psychic damage, and you are incapacitated until the start of your next turn.
If I failed, correct.
Is that on a, oh, that's on
Probably
a failed.
if
Yes.
fail,
Okay.
yeah.
So you just take the half damage. Let me just check my form of dread to see like if they take any damage. I think the form of dread is inactive.
You do have a chance to frighten him, but you will
Yes.
notice he seems unafraid. The people are screaming and running in all directions, although the Naharas are very much cheering as they're like getting away from you. Like they're very happily crying as they're running for their lives. It's like chaos is beginning to erupt through here.
Yay, I hate it.
Basically, exactly that. Yeah, they're like, we will never be as Nahara as you. You also see as this building is collapsing, sinkholes are kind of forming in the streets in giving way. And you can start to see that underneath there is a lattice work under this place of the aforementioned tunnels that you all hadn't seen before, that this whole thing was a presentation layer to something very different that is underneath. Anything else from Nahara?
No, if he doesn't have to roll for the, or if they don't have to roll for the wisdom, then
They are not scared.
they are not scared. Okay, then I am done.
When Nahara ends, there's just his eyes just flash over it, and he just like flicks, and there's a firebolt that goes towards her as a legendary action.
Roll.
It's a 17 on the die. That's probably going to hit. With
Yeah,
my
that hits.
That is going to. Do you want to roll or use the average?
I'll use average reuse for this. It's firebolt.
22
20,
points.
20,
if you use
20
the average.
yeah, 22 points. Yeah, that's fine.
22
Yeah.
points of fire damage.
Doesn't even take all my temp
totally.
hits.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. Yeah. You see the spirits.
Come at
are
me,
like,
bro.
Nahara, before we leave your turn, especially since you just got a new item, pay attention before we roll away from you for that thing that it can do about the twist of fate.
Oh, I did not see that. Let me look at that. I did not see that in the description. Oh, there it is.
Mm-hmm. That's a fairly significant thing.
Okay. All right. Yes, I'm ready for my next turn then.
Simply because you didn't know it was a thing, I will let you use it now because yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I will use a twist of fate. So I will draw a card from the deck
and
twist the fortune of another creature that I see within 15 feet of me.
Is it your intent to help someone or hinder someone?
Well, let's see. How far is Harkon away from me?
Oh, everyone's within range. Your entire party and Acriel and Harkon are all in range.
Here's the thing. There are more of my friends than there are of my enemies. And so I will say help. So I'm hoping to help one of my friends.
Who are you going to give it to?
Uriah. I didn't know I
Excellent.
could choose. Okay.
You can. Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Nahara loves Uriah, but this is Desmond's big battle. I'm going to give this to Desmond.
Oh, yes, I think you should.
Desmond, you will have advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws for the next hour, which for our purposes is indefinitely.
Excellent.
You, Desmond, you see Nahara draw this card, and it's like you hear a different kind of howling, not like the very real lycanthropes that are around, but like spirits, ancestors.
I pulled the ghost card.
That deck, man. That deck. Like I wrote it into the story so you could have it seen just like Saja could.
Yep.
Yes, Desmond.
They never lie.
You're aware the ancestors are with you. So basically advantage on everything, and it is your turn, Desmond.
Just what I deserve.
Based on that, the new sheet, Desmond heals for 10.
Yep.
Yay. And In addition, trying to get it to show because I just added a thing.
Give me all you got, nephew. Oh, please believe me.
Ah, there we go. Perfect.
A lot.
Let's
It's all a lot.
see.
I'd ambushed all of them with a lot, except Tatiana, because it's very on brand. The most straightforward, just knock the souls out of people.
Hit hard with gloves on. Love it.
Everybody
sometimes-
else very complex.
This is the most clothed I've ever been.
Trying to see because I feel like I gained recently, or not super recently. Like my attacks are multiple every turn, which makes me very happy.
Yes, actually, there in the stat block, it accounts for that.
Cool, because Desmond's going to throw some claws.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it not there? Let me roll to hit.
Is it your intent to bite and claw, or
Throwing
Right.
multiple claws.
right? Yep. Yeah.
Claws back to back.
Perfect.
Claws, then claws, and then claws.
Yep.
And then after that, claws. Oh, actually,
Mhm.
I probably should bite. To be fair, bite and claw.
You can claw and bite. You got options.
I'm just like I'm trying to add the custom bite. 'Cause this
I
is
would
a
just
different
roll,
bite.
I would just roll a physical die. I wouldn't
All right,
even.
cool. That
wouldn't sweat it.
die got me a 14. So to hit adds a nice 9er, which means it's a 23 to hit.
Is that enough, Harkon? 23?
That hits.
Perfect.
How much damage?
That would be 2d8 plus 4
Mhm.
plus. Trying to figure out if it's. Let me roll that first because math.
Math. Math is math.
14 there. And then.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure. It says plus 14, but it also says 46 necrotic damage. So I'm trying to figure out which is which.
I'm not sure what you're looking at.
You send me the page under actions. Bite.
Oh, that was the bite before the claw. Right.
Yeah. This is all still the bite.
Sorry, I was looking at claw. That's why I was like, the words you're saying are not what I'm reading, not the bite.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was concerned. I was
so-
like, this is all right there, though.
So the way that works, you either can roll that damage, or you can just take that average. The 13 is
I'm
the
gonna take
average.
the average out of principle just
Right.
because a smooth, solid
So it's
14. Let's go. So 28.
piercing and 14 necrotic damage. However,
It's actually 14
Yeah.
initially for the first one.
Mhm.
Also, that's 13 plus that. Oh, so that was the average. And then mine was one above it. All right, cool. Crazy.
perfect.
Silly.
You bite into him and you feel you break through the skin and bleed, but you notice it doesn't hurt him as much as you would have expected. It hurts him, but not as much as you would have thought. He's tougher than he looks, and he looks pretty tough.
Father did that before I decapitated him. Gonna try.
Perfect. That's attack number 1. Roll attack number 2.
You know what? Desmond's in the mood to bite again because he hungry.
Have at it.
So let me add these lovely DA.
And it's going to be Uriah's up next.
BD Zoom chat.
Oh, that will be 19 plus 14. Because I'm gonna take the average of the second one because reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So 33.
Yeah,
33 to hit.
Oh, that was the hit. I didn't even roll the hit. I'm silly. My bad.
that's important. He's
It
slippery.
is important. I was just like, let me roll the damage.
I'm like, dang, 33. Come on, Neff.
Oh yeah. Am I rolling this with advantage or not?
No, just regular. Oh yes, because of what
Yeah.
Nahara did to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's right.
That's a nat 20 right there, which just makes me very happy.
Perfect. That would be 26 on the bite and 28 on the necrotic damage, which you really, the first time you bite him, he sort of says something sassy to you, but the second time you bite him, you can see in his eyes you got his attention, Desmond.
Oh, he got my attention, all right.
Mm-hmm.
However, as that bite goes through,
Mhm.
there's a performance given in the same breath. And he just says,
You have to hit the jugular if you actually want to deal the damage.
I'm immune to crits.
That is true. You are immune to crits. Yes.
How
Oops,
dare.
you there?
Yep. It's the worst. Worst.
I didn't know that
so
was a thing.
you have damaged him, but not as much as you very much should have.
All right, though.
You see me though, don't you, Uncle?
Anything else from Desmond?
You see me,
Desmond's good. Like, Desmond wanted to make the point known, and I don't think Desmond has access to his other stuffs, like his bonus actions.
No, you're right now.
Yeah,
You're pure
he's-
Lugaroo.
What up, partner, Uncle?
Apparently, we're from the south side of Cartacus now.
A little bit.
Uriah, your turn.
We need Harkon and Desmond just and up in Compton, just like, what up? All right.
Question: how many of these werewolves can I see at the moment?
They are very much gathering. Nahara told you there was 30 of them before, but they fled. You can see about 6 kind of making their way in this direction.
6, you say?
Mm-hmm. And Acriel, who still is like, you realize you thought she was howling. She's actually singing, but it's weird because she's like 600 pounds right now. So there's 7 total, including Acriel. Well, 8, I suppose, if you include Harkon. But of the non-Harkon werewolves, there are 7.
7.
Mhm.
Very well. If I cast Hold Person at 7th level, I can actually affect 6 of them.
Okay.
But the Book of Exalted Deeds further boosts any cleric spell I cast up another level. So I should be able to get all of them with a single Hold Person spell.
You know, Uriah, again, your life has been challenging at best.
Yes. Yeah. Well, one doesn't like to complain, but yeah.
And yet, as you hold this book in your hands, really for the first time, honestly, in your life, you actually think that maybe, just maybe everything's going to be all right. Like maybe it hasn't been for nothing. I mean, the book knows the things you've done. As you hold up your hands, you feel its power coursing through you. What is the save on that?
Well,
Dave,
that's
how
the
much
other.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say how much of a butthole should I be?
I would just like the record to show I brought you here to be extra.
Great. There's a whistle counterspell.
Roll it for me here, Harkon,
Yeah,
because
This is actually an 8th level spell.
Yep.
So you must roll as if it is an 8th level spell.
Yep. You need to beat an 18.
I think I lock eyes with Nahara, and I just say, as I whistle, I just look at Nahara and say,
Remember how I said fate is on your side?
"That's a natural 1." It goes through.
The whole person goes through. You see, as you hold it up and you whistle and the spell still goes off, Acriel turns and looks at you and says, "Daddy, that's why nobody respects you." And she and all the other lupines freeze. And you see her eyes looking around like she's very much panicked. But she is held. They're all held.
And when they're all held, I look back at Harkon and I say, indeed.
Anything else from Uriah? Glowing, radiant, even brighter than the sun.
What up?
Yes, I believe I can activate my, assuming it's not actually magically active, I'm going to activate the halo as a bonus action.
And well, I've described it multiple times, so I won't even cost you the bonus action. I'm going to say it's there.
Very well. Then
Perfect.
I think that's probably it for me. Hold on one second.
Also, just for the record, just as an article of faith, anytime you're thinking, should I counterspell or is it too cruel? Dear viewer / listener, always do the counterspell.
I will counterspell that heal. Think I won't.
Yeah, I'll counterspell resurrection.
You know something, since I have a bonus action left anyway, I think spiritual weapon is probably called for as the sword of Ezra materializes.
Go ahead and attack.
And just a question: if I attack someone who's held, it will not necessarily break the hold, will it?
No, actually, I don't. They get to roll at the end of their turns. I don't think the attack will help them. Will automatically break it. Yep.
Oh, and just for future reference, Uriah's with the Book of Exalted Deeds, Uriah's wisdom is 22, so his spell save DC is 19 currently.
He is very wisdomous.
He is very wisdomous. His wisdom is strong.
They only
as
get,
Tatiana might say.
That is true. You learned that from her. She's also very wisdomous. Yes, whole person, they only get a save at the end of their turn. Being attacked, it does not break it. Not like a charm.
All right. Yep. Then I think Mr. Lucas's daughter will end up on the receiving end of this spiritual weapon, which is also, of course, upcast thanks to the book.
Perfect. What does the weapon look like when it appears?
Oh, this is most definitely the sword of Ezra, although there is more of a feathery motif along the hilt these days.
Perfect. Just give me the damage when you got it.
Very well. That is... Oh, hold on.
Valentine. Oh, unless there was anything else for Uriah.
I'm having a virtual die, which is just sitting there, so I'm going to roll.
Just give it to me when you got it.
It is a 27 to hit.
More than enough. Valentine, your turn.
Thank you. Okay, so since my hand was like essentially on his daughter and she is frozen, I'm just gonna remove a hand off, and I will turn to Harkon, and I am going to need you to make a con save that I do assume you'll beat, which is 17.
Hey, who knows? I guess we'll do that one.
It's true. You never know.
Fingers crossed for another.
Listen, I honor those low rolls, y'all.
As one must.
That was not a low roll. That is a 26.
Okay, so that's halved. I am casting Blight. You can see, and I'm casting Blight at 7th level. So you can see from Valentine's eyes, the tentacles that tend to just kind of like whip and stray around, almost like eyelashes typically, extend down her body and into the floor and move towards you and have this kind of like inky, sickening black, like melting to them as they wrap around you. It's 61 points of damage halved. So do we round up or round down, B-Dave?
Round up. We're among friends.
And 31 points of damage. And then as a bonus action, I am going to use a bunch of meta magic. I'm going to make a firebolt, twin spelled, and a bonus action.
I will just say one thing because I realize you rolled this in advance. Thank you for that. You notice as the blight goes off on him, it doesn't hurt him as much as you thought it would. You see it does eat into his fur and his flesh, but not as powerfully as you would have expected. But yes, firebolts.
Got it. Okay. And because I am wearing my mask, I am wearing the red dragon mask in particular. I think that does something to fire damage. Yes. At the end of its turn, you will continue to take damage, essentially.
Continue to burn.
Yeah. So that was coincidentally the exact same roll both times. 24 is to hit.
More than enough.
All right. The first one is 25 points of fire damage, and the second one is 12. There is an additional D6 from the red dragon mask, which is an additional 4 points of damage.
Perfect. Again, I reiterate, there is such power that radiates through you with this mask on, Valentine. The likes of which you've never truly felt before. Because it just feels
I think
right.
You can see as she has the mask on and it like favors the side of the red dragon currently, the like kind of tentacle wrappings that come out of her eyes and her ears and mouth kind of like take to wrapping around it, gripping it onto her face and attaching it to her.
Perfect.
And that is it for my turn.
Excellent. That brings us to Tatiana.
You know, when you give someone a gift and then you hurt their feelings. That makes you a real snake. And I cast Wild Companion. So I get to use the Find Familiar spell, but I'm going to create a fae that is a giant constrictor snake. Before, who gets to roll initiative?
You can just go with
Snake's
you.
initiative is okay.
It'll just
Great.
Go with you.
Good. So the snake slithers away as far away as possible from me because it cannot attack. But then I use my bonus action to combat wild shape into the exact same creature and slither close to Harkon. As you hear, I mean, you know, I can't speak in wild shape, but if I could, you'd hear, "You're going to like this." And I wrap around to constrict.
Make your attack roll.
Okay. Come on, Dessa. 18 to hit.
I don't think 18 is enough.
That does not hit.
You try and constrict, but he's shockingly fast for a creature of this size, Tatiana.
You come back here, she thinks to herself, and no one can hear as she slithers around. And being the first time that she's been something without legs, you know, it's really hard to navigate. So she tries to slither after. And you do see a glove on the tail of the snake.
Perfect. Anything else from Tatiana?
That's it.
Finn.
Finn is going to actually bonus action her dread form, and then at 4th level, use Rollivan's Psychic Lance.
Perfect.
You need to do a save or take 76 psychic damage.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
So what kind of save?
Intelligence.
That is, sorry, that's actually math. 19.
Dagnabbit. I'm sorry, that was a failed save.
76 on a failed save?
Yes.
Wait, what was the number he needed to beat?
14.
14. So no,
The target must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save,
right.
The target takes 76 psychic damage and is incapacitated until the start of the next turn. On a successful save,
Right.
the creature takes half as much damage.
Okay, so he made it. Perfect. So, you're rolling 7d6, not
I heard 76 too.
Yeah,
I
in
heard
the
that
beginning, I was like, wow.
I was like, dang, shablamo.
I also heard that. Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to die.
I'm still rolling 76.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
have at it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 14, 18, 21, 22. So take 11 psychic damage.
This lance reaches out and smashes into your head again. Harkon, I believe you have a legendary action left before we roll around to the top, or did you use them all?
I do.
It's about to be your turn again, so.
Yeah, but I think what happened, and this is kind of wrapping that legendary action into his turn because he's next. He is just going to take a clawed hand and just attempt to grip Desmond by the throat. I'm going to use this as my attack. I'm not actually grabbing you, just getting you in there. That'll be 19. Is that 19? 19.
Yep.
19 hit. Great.
Mhm.
I'm just going to do the averages for this for ease. That'd be 21 points of slashing and 7 points of force. And as I grab, I look you dead in your eye and I see your father, but I also see you. And I say,
You've done well. Quite well for yourself. I would be lying if I say I wasn't impressed. but you will not get the revenge you think you deserve. For I am owed a lot more than you think you should have. We'll meet again. But for now, your Black Dice Society can go.
Before we do, where's my gift, partner?
Look at yourself, nephew. That is your gift.
And as Harkon says this, you all see the crashing waves of the mists come rolling in on you as he is standing there holding Desmond and sweep all of you up into the chilly nothing you've become so accustomed to. And when they depart, you find yourself standing in a land that you don't recognize. No sign of Harkon and no sign of Finn. That is a good place for us to stop.